Thanks very much for coming and doing this with us. If you just have a seat there, my man Max there will pick you up. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Just
I ain't used to people feeling like this before.
Yeah, well, we're not going to take too long because we realise you're a busy man, and we'll try and get through these questions as quick as possible. But
Indeed.
So, Stephen Brown, the well-known, famous Stephen Brown. Thank you very much for coming down and joining us today, and taking the time out to come and do this interview with you.
Yeah, that's no problem.
Obviously, one of the big events in your life you've got is an upcoming album release. It's quite an anticipated album called Me, Myself and I. How much can you tell us about this album?
I really wanted to express the way that I felt, and not just about myself, but the world around, and the badness that we can all create. And I wanted to get across the image, the perfect image of what I truly want and what I truly mean for everybody else. I think it's important to get that message across to just about everybody. And I hope that, I know it will be successful. I'm as good as I ever could be at the moment. My game is as on top as it could be, and I'm impressed with it. I love the album, and I'm pretty damn sure everybody is going to be as well.
Did you? Well, that's brilliant. You seem quite certain about the success. Did you always have this confidence with your previous work, like when you were starting out, when you first met the industry here in LA, and you started putting stuff together?
Tough competition, but there was something within me, like a burning desire to beat them. I knew that within myself I was able to get to the top. I was at the top already. It was just establishing that point, establishing that focal point of what is great. And I think, especially with this next album, I mean, I just sort of certify my point at the top. But I'd already made that step up. I'd already made that point clear.
That's fantastic. I mean, obviously, especially with your early stuff, you must have always drawn influence from somewhere. So, how's this for a question? How was the music you listened to when you were younger, a child? How's that influenced your work now?
I think the music that I listened to, it didn't have an effect on me too much, because as much as it was nice to think, oh my God, I could be there, it wasn't like me. It wasn't like the music that I created. It wasn't the greatness that it could have been, And I actually felt sorrow for the people who made music before. Like, I felt sorrow for those who thought that it was good, and they hadn't heard what good was. And I'm happy. I feel privileged and proud that I actually brought the world good. I can't put it any other way than perfection. It's like Nirvana. I really reached that with this, especially with this new album.
Okay then, you might find this question a little difficult to answer, but then, in which case, what would be your, Desert Island CD, film, and book?
It'd be very difficult to take anything other than the stuff that I do. I think when you're alone, you really need to reassert yourself as the master of everything that is around. And if you're alone on a desert island, there's nobody around, and you have to make sure, you have to reassert within yourself that you are on top of your game. You are the best that is going. You are the best that could possibly be. I think the book, I would probably take the Bible. I'm not
Does religion have a big influence on your work, or has it in the past?
It doesn't have a big influence. I'm a little bit fazed by the Bible. It has an impact on many individuals. I wish I could have been more sort of suited towards it, but there's a part of me that wishes that somebody that good and he's still not on earth. And I like to think that I'm that person, somebody that is so great and is among us. Because God, whoever the hell he is among us at the moment, this God figure.
Fantastic. Okay, in which case, go back to the question, what would be your Desert Island CD and film then?
Well, my CD would have to be Me, Myself and I. A lot of people haven't heard it yet. Obviously, it gets released next month, but it's certainly affected me. it's had an effect on my life already. Making it, producing it, listening to it is the most important part. And I think if I can listen to it on my desert island, I think I'll stay sane enough to bless the world once more and come around again. My film would have to be my film that's around at the moment. I've forgotten the name. What's the name?
Me.
Oh, Me. My film is called Me. It has significance, I hope, to many people who are lost in the world, and they find faith, they find love, they find.
Was the same Me film that was slammed by the critics 2 months ago? Or?
I don't think so. I think this one is
Okay.
somebody that is much admired by the general public, the general
The
critics.
film that was quoted to be ruining Steven Spielberg's career as we speak, or sorry.
I don't respect or admire Steven Spielberg. He's too conformist.
Although he made your film.
Yes, I don't like him.
Well, I guess you know the well-known saying, if Steven Spielberg isn't good enough to direct your film, who is?
Well,
But,
I think I'll direct my own films next time. I don't need somebody else telling
fantastic.
me what to
I
do.
look forward to that. I expect Me Too coming out next summer. Brilliant. Well, obviously, being a musician, you've got a film out, you've got a book out, apparently the Bible. How can you cope with simply being so rich? I mean, it's a thing that's driven a lot of people crazy, and how is this inspired and sort of influenced?
Having money is not easy. Not having money is tough, but having money is even tougher. And I find it difficult to realize my own wealth. Having the money that I have allows me to project what I want to the world. It's an easier process to get across the world. However, I understand that for some people money is not everything, but for me it certainly is. And I have to have money to pleasure myself, to please myself, to please. Whether it doesn't even have to be myself. It has to be my fans. It has to be the people around the world who want to understand and take in what I have to administer and what I have to say to them, whether through my music, my books, or my fragrance that came out quite recently.
What's that one called?
That's J'adore moi. J'adore moi.
Okay.
It's the follow-up to Probably Me. It's already sold past the 500,000 mark, so I'm hoping to make a fortune.